What's the crack? What's the bleeding story? Two legends in the gaff. What's the crack, lads? Dave, old school gunner. What's happening?
What's happening, man? There's a lot going on with the club. I'm really looking forward to the game on Saturday against Brentford. I just want to thank you for inviting me on this live stream, and I'm happy to be here, and let's talk some football.
Yeah, that's good. And next to you, Warren, what's happening, man?
I'm good, mate. Nice to be here. Thanks very much for asking me to come on. I'm really looking forward to having a good old natter and putting a few people in their place, mate. That's what.
You're talking about me, Warren. You better not be talking about me, Warren. Only joking, guys. We're gonna keep it friendly.
All right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There's a lot of comments coming in there, man. Wow.
Few comments there coming in. We'll just say hello to a few people before we sort of get started. There's Joanne, the legend. What's the story, Joanne? Hope you're keeping good. Here's a few of your fans, Dave. Nini and Dave.
We go way back.
True City fan. Give a man a like. What a legend. Cheers, mate. He's a Dublin Man City fan. Tayyib's a legend and he supports everyone. Good Arsenal fan. Why not sentimental? Good guy. Another good guy. So there's Tayyib. Hi, everyone. So what's the bleeding story, everyone? Where do we start? Right. Well, what I'm going to sort of start in, and I'm curious to know, what's Dave? How did you start supporting Arsenal as an Irish fan? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, obviously, I'm from Cork. I was when I was in school, it was either Liverpool, United, Arsenal. Obviously, in school, we all looked over towards the clubs in England. You know what I mean? With respects to Cork City FC, to Dundalk, and to Shelbourne and Bowes and all them. But we looked over to English football, obviously, because there was a lot of Irish players in the league. Just that and the other. I've actually a funny story about this. I know Warren knows that, but my poor innocent mum, she went to get me a pencil case. And you know what she came home with, man, when she went into the city centre? Everything. Straight into the bin, man. I had already seen Alan Smith play back in the day. I had been watching Alan Smith. Ian Wright was on the scene. Kevin Campbell was hanging around the goalpost. So I decided for Arsenal. That pencil case went straight into the bin. Jeez, my poor man. But yeah, I started supporting him in 1993. Sorry to cut across you. I started supporting him in 1993. That wasn't yesterday. You know what I mean? So I'm lucky enough. Things are not as best at the club right now, but I've seen a couple of league titles. I've seen a couple of wins. I'll never forget that Champions League final against Barcelona, man. That for me was the big low point of all the years, I think, that final we lost against Barcelona. But anyway, that was a real sickener, man. I mean, we had a real chance. Now, Chelsea, of course, have become the first London club ever to win the Champions League and this, that, and the other. But I'll never forget that 2006 final, man. That was, heart-wrenching, man.
Yeah, it's like, for like that's it's a good introduction there from yourself. And the only thing I have to ask, where like that would have been what, the 80s or probably early 90s. Where the fuck 93. Where the fuck did your man get a pencil case of Everton in Cork in 93?
I honestly, I don't know what she'd be doing. Honestly, I don't know what part of town she went into, but it wasn't the part of town that I go into. You know what I mean? I don't know. I know what she was doing. I don't know where she'd be going. Man. But I did it. I just stepped back, quick 3-pointer, straight into the bin. I wasn't even looking at the shot. It was a fantastic moment in my life. I became a man that day. I became a man.
Yeah, Michael Jordan
on my chest and everything. Yeah, I just leaned back, man, and I just 3-pointer straight in. I wasn't even looking.
And Warren, what's the crack anyway? How you doing, pal? I love your channel.
Thank you very much, Del Boy. I like yours too, man.
Same question to you. How the hell did you get supporting Arsenal?
Right. So it all started for me when I was about 5. Right. I was sitting in my bedroom and I had this like chart thing where you could plot the teams in the league table over the course of the season. And I was sitting there and I was playing with it. And my dad walked in and he goes, right, choose a team that you want to go and support, but make sure it's in London and I'll take you to go and see them. So I have no idea. I can't remember why I picked Arsenal, but I did. Right? So he took me to see it and I just loved it. I loved it. First game I went to was in September 1972. Right? Arsenal against Liverpool. Right? Now, in this game, the linesman got injured, and Jimmy Hill, the famous pundit,
Jimmy Hill.
Yeah, he had to exactly. He had to come on and run the line because they had no one else to do it. And at the time, the rules were that if you didn't have a referee and 2 linesmen, they had to abandon the game. So they put an announcement out on the tannoy at Highbury for anyone who was a qualified referee to come forward. And yeah, he come forward and he ran the line. The game was a 0-0 draw. But I absolutely loved it. We were on the clock end and 5-year-old kid with his dad. I absolutely loved it, man.
Oh, that's brilliant.
I was hooked.
Yeah, Jesus Christ! Like I remember my first time in Highbury as well. Like, you know, it was a special moment for me. Like, I was just like, because I've been supporting Arsenal since 1989, and that season, you know, and for me, I think when I think it was 97, 98 season when I went to Highbury, and it was just everything came. Now I know why I support this club. You know what I mean? It's just, this is what I always say to people, that they don't understand like how big Arsenal is, not just in London, not just in the UK, but worldwide. Like, the fans they have all over the world is unbelievable. But whereabouts are you from, Warren?
I'm from Kent, just south of London.
Yeah.
And so it's quite easy for us to get in to see the games because it takes probably about an hour and a half to get from where I live to the ground. So it's not that far. It's all right. I used to have a season ticket, and I used to go to loads of away games, and then I stopped going for a long time, right? Because of like the Hillsborough disaster, and there'd been a few, in my opinion, there'd been a few near misses, and some of them had been involving Arsenal fans. There's one incident at QPR when loads of people got crushed, and a couple of other times. And then there was all the violence as well, because there was crowd trouble was a big problem, and I just thought, I can't be asked for this. I remember one game I went to was the Millwall game at Highbury, when they come and tried to take the clock back down the old Kent Road. I walked out at half time because it was just kicking off all round the ground.
They were that bad, were they, back then? Like, you know, you used to hear it on the news and stuff like that. But they were really bad, were they?
Yeah, they were terrible, mate. They came up. I've got a friend, an old work friend of mine. She's a Liverpool fan, and she grew up right sort of a couple of streets from Arsenal's ground. And she said they just smashed the whole of Highbury up. Cars were getting turned over. People's windows were being put in. It was an absolute nightmare.
That's a rough part of London. That's a rough part of London, though, Warren. I mean, if you've been around.
Oh, yeah, man. I mean,
I've been a lunatic asylum, man.
I've been to their ground twice to see Arsenal. And I felt like I was taking my life into my hands.
The guys around there are no joke.
I remember we were going into the away end at Millwall, right? And this guy was selling the Millwall fanzine, so I went up to him because I wanted to buy one, because I used to collect them. And I gave him the money, got my fanzine, and he said to me, "Who do you support, mate?" And I thought, "Oh, fucking hell, don't ask me that." And so I just said, "Who do you think, mate?" And then I just walked off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was a madhouse. Honestly, an absolute madhouse. It just, like, you went there, you literally taking your life in your hands.
It's a tough part of town, man. It's a tough part of town.
Well, what we usually call that place in Ireland is Cork.
Cork. You know what I mean? Outside.
Listen, I used to work in an Irish organisation. Most of the staff were all Irish. And I remember when the Gaelic games were on, like, they would, like, end up in full-blown punch-ups in the office. Like, fellas, like, fighting each other over the football. We had one guy who's from Galway, and him and this guy from Mayo, and the two of them fucking used to fight like cat and dog over the Gaelic games. It was terrible.
Connacht final. I was probably a Connacht final.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well,
The rivals,
team
you know,
was
the
dominant,
rivals.
you know,
It's like Cork and Kerry, man. Like Cork
I'm
and
just going
Kerry.
to hit a few comments here, guys. Just they're coming in pretty fast and thick. I just want to say hello to Vicky. How are you? Thanks a million for tuning in as well. Craig Malloy, another real one. He's a good supporter. And just this question here, boys, for King Tony, great Brentford supporter. Big up. Big up, fellas. Don't think you should be writing us off this Saturday. There could be a sting in the tail. What do you think of that?
I think Brentford have a chance.
Yeah?
Yeah, I do.
think
I think they're a decent team. I think they play very good possession-based football, and then they're quite dangerous. We weren't at our best the first game. I think the first game of the season they beat us 2-0 in Brentford at Brentford, but I really think they have a decent team, and I know we have strengthened. I know the back four is good. I know we're solid, and Ramsdale, my player of the season, Aaron Ramsdale. But I honestly think that they're going to give us a game. I think we're in for a game.
I think,
They have a good team, man.
Let's not forget as well, when the pandemic was on, we had in the friendly at the Emirates and they beat us. I think it was one of Arteta's first games at the club, and they beat us 3-2, I think it was.
And I like the way the manager sort of has them as well, and they're sort of like that Phil and Moneyball as well. You know what I mean? They're well organised. In fairness to them, and people, I think when they first came into the Premiership, people were sort of writing them off, and I didn't get that myself. And look, I know, I thought the very first, when I seen the result, the fixtures out, and I seen we had Brentford away first game. And I just went, oh, shit. I was actually, I can see probably an upset because nearly every start of the season, there's always an upset from a new promoted team. And I was just there to myself, I think this is going to be it. And fair play to them. They did do it, But I'm not writing them off either, Like people are sort of saying 3-1 to Arsenal, 3-0. No, I'm not having that at all. Because hold on. People are forgetting, and we will come to it in tonight's show. Like, people are forgetting, we fuck all up front. You know what I mean? There's no one up front that I'm going, oh, Jesus.
We've nobody.
Nobody. If there's goals Saturday, who's going to score them? Warren?
That's a big question. I really don't know. Because Martinelli's not playing, so we're not going to get them from him. So then you have to look either Lacazette or Nketiah. Can you really see either of them banging one in? I can't. I think Emil Smith-Rowe might. He might, because he scores sometimes from midfield. But other than that, if Brentford are savvy, they'll do everything they can to lock him out of the game. You know what I mean? And the thing about them as well, they've got Ivan Toney.
Yeah.
Yeah, really good striker.
And I'll tell you, do you know what? That's a good shout there, Warren, because I think, let's say, if they score first, I think he'll be one to do it. Could be a set piece or something like that, because he's a big boy as well, and no messing around. But I've been hearing talk, of this, the fella. Well, he's not new. I think he's at as a season that does the set pieces for Arsenal. And that he's the be-all and end-all at set pieces. He was at Man City and now he's with ourselves. But what do you think about set pieces so far this season? I'll let the two of you hit on that.
Not good.
Yeah.
We're not that good on the set pieces. We're not bad on the counter-attack because of the likes of Emil Smith-Rowe, Bukayo Saka. But no, from set pieces, dead ball situations, what have you, I can't remember a single time where we did something worthwhile. I don't know. Can you remember a time, Warren? We've got no Ward-Prowse. We don't have a guy like Ward-Prowse in the team. A guy that can deliver a dead ball in, like he did against Spurs twice. We don't have someone like, you know what I mean? We don't have who are we going for? The player at Leicester, Madison. We don't have a Madison. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dead ball specialist, set piece. No.
The only time I've seen us do anything from set piece was that game at Burnley. when Odegaard scored that free kick. But
yeah, that was the cracker.
yeah, but other than that, it's not been great. Do you know what I mean? And you know, you'd be looking to score a few goals from free kicks, floated into the box, headers, stuff like that, corners as well. But you know, it's not great. I mean, I remember George Graham under his reign, like when we won the league in '89. We had this routine where the ball would come into the near post, the defender would flick it. I think it was Steve Bold would flick it with a backwards header. Tony Adams would be running in from the box to header it home. You know, and teams struggled to cope with it. They just couldn't. You know, but
they were doing it for a while under Wenger too. I remember that year. I think '98 when we won the league in '98, they were still doing that again. Ball to the front, Adams would come in, and the ball would be taken away, and he would come in and just slam it in. Yeah,
exactly.
Different caliber of player though. You know, Adams was a different caliber of player.
No, but
serious centre back. Yeah.
You can make a big impact, but we don't. I mean, other teams manage to do it.
Well, I don't think Mikel Arteta knows what a set piece is. So, of course, when you don't know what it is, you can't practice it on the training ground. But we'll get to that later. We'll round on him for a while later. Tear him to pieces, man.
Joanne has one here. My friend's dad said when he was alive, he would never go to a North London derby as it was so violent. Was that right, Warren?
I never really went to them that often. I remember walking down the Tottenham High Road after the League Cup semi-final replay, and we knocked them out. And me and my mates were all Arsenal fans, and we were walking down the Tottenham High Road singing our heads off. And we went to walk into the tube station, and these three fellas said, "What's the matter? Can't you handle us?" And I just laughed at them. I never see any real. I have to say, I never saw any real violence. Arsenal Spurs game. Well, not out in the street. It happened at Highbury a few times. Like be standing in the North Bank, and then you'd be standing there watching before the game started, and all of a sudden there'd be a massive surge across the away end where the Spurs fans were. And some Arsenal boys had got into the clock end, and there's a massive brawl and stuff. So I saw it 2 or 3 times, but nothing really major out in the street. Do you know what I mean? But you certainly need to have your wits about you. That's for sure.
Yeah. There was a police presence too. You know, like the police are North London Derby. The police are all over that. They try to stop it as much as they can from happening. You know, I mean, they keep the fans apart. You know, they keep the away fans in after the full-time whistle until the home fans, most of them are actually gone up the road and away. They try to limit it as much as they can too. If they didn't do that, it would be all-out warfare. It would, after a couple of points, of course.
The most violence I saw was inside the ground, like I said, and it would be in the clock end. A mate of mine was a Spurs fan, and he got trampled on in one of these surges. And he ended up having to go to a hospital with bruised ribs and whatnot.
Why did you have a friend who was a Spurs fan, Warren?
That was a really good mate.
I'm only joking, man. I'm only joking. What an icebreaker. My mate was a Spurs fan.
I really liked him, except for the Faith's Choice Football Club.
I'm just going to unsubscribe from your channel, Warren. Right now, I'm doing it. I'm here doing it right now. I'm doing it right now.
He was the one I went to Germany with for the European Championships.
Jesus, what a place to go, Germany.
It was me, him, and a Norwich fan. And it was wild. That was bad. That was really bad, mate. Jesus Christ.
Germany.
And just a few comments. And just actually, before I even go on, look, guys, if you aren't subscribed already, please subscribe to Old School Gunner, Warren's Team Talk. This show is called the Trotters Independent Gooners Association. To my left here, I have Rodney. And over the far left, I have Uncle Albert. So please hit the subscribe button on all their channels.
Jesus, Rodney was
not
good looking enough to be Rodney.
Yeah, you know. Just what King Tony here. Hope Jez the legend will be in the chat soon to give us his catchphrase. Arteta's catchphrase. Fair play. There's a few real ones in tonight. Any of you guys seen Josh bullshit interview? That's a good one. Actually, we'll go on that. Did you see it? I
wouldn't wipe my ass with it, so I haven't seen it. I wouldn't even pay any attention to his interview.
Yeah.
Because if I know what it's about, so I wouldn't wipe my ass with it.
I watched it for 5 minutes and I switched it off. I just got bored with it.
Yeah.
I understand. I just don't look at that shite. You know what I mean? And I'm sure you've seen. I done a video there yesterday about the media. I'm just sick of them. Like, you know what I mean? All this crap, and they're all feeding the same bullshit. Like, you know what I mean? Oh, how are you? How's your flight, Josh? How's his fucking flight? He's on a private bleeding jet over, so he's not worrying about any flights. You know what I mean? He's eating caviar and drinking champagne. You know what I mean?
His chinos, man. He's wearing his chinos. You know what I mean?
You know, seriously.
You think that of him with a big head?
Yeah.
It pisses me off. I keep going on to that Charles Watts channel, right? And I don't know why I keep doing it, but I end up always getting involved in a massive ruck with Charles Watts, right? I keep telling him, stop bloody being so nice to him. Put it on him. Ask him difficult questions. But they
stick it to him.
Yeah, don't get
it to him.
And has he ever replied to you?
Yeah, he did once.
Yes.
He was going on about how good our defence was and, you know, how it was stable and it didn't need any reinforcement. And I said, listen, what's going to happen if Gabriel and Ben White get injured or one of them, or they get suspended? Then what? And he goes, oh, we'll just have to pray. Oh, fucking hell. Oh, fucking...
They got the Super Bowl win, man. That's all they care about. They got the Super Bowl win.
Yeah.
The Los Angeles Rams. That's all they care about. They couldn't give a crap what's going on over this side of the water.
Like, even I didn't see, like, I'm not a mad American football. Now, I do watch it the odd time. I'd watch it on that Red Zone and stuff like that. Very, very, very odd time, like, you know.
If you have trouble sleeping, See,
this is the thing on a Sunday evening or something like that. The question I have to ask, like, you know, let's say we won the FA Cup or whatever. We'll just say, I'm not even going to say the league, but would they be on the pitch like they were for the Super Bowl? Do you know what I mean? They wouldn't their fucking arse because they wouldn't have a clue.
They're not like Abramovich, man. I hate to say this, but they're not like Roman Abramovich. Say what you want about Abramovich. He has had plenty of criticism leveled at him down through the years at Chelsea, but he actually actively takes part. He goes into the changing room. He actually gives the guys a pat on the back. Say what you want about him, yeah, what he did in the past, but he actually stands up beside the team and he actually supports them. He actually takes an active interest in what's going on the field. They need a striker. He gives them the money. They need this. He writes the check for that. Come on, like, it's marketing at Chelsea, man. And Abramovich is to the fore. You know what I mean? He is, like, and he's supportive. Look at the guys we have. Come on, like. Look at Chelsea now. There's light years between us and them, man. There's light years between Chelsea and us. Light years. I don't care what position, league position. They're winning lots, man. And we haven't won anything since. When's the last time we won an FA Cup? When was the last time we won the FA Cup?
Well, when we won it recently under Mikel Arteta, they weren't on the pitch then, were they? And then Leicester won it. Was it last season? They won it against Chelsea. Their owner was on the pitch, celebrating with them. Do you know what I mean? And no, I don't think they're interested. And I keep going back to this thing that Kroenke said when he said, I didn't buy Arsenal to win trophies.
See, do you know what the thing about it is? Like, I just think that they would never do that because the media are out on the pitch, and let's say it's you know, the way the media that are in the club, let's say that do the press conferences, they have a muzzle on them basically. But down at the pitch, you could have someone like Roy Keane or something like that ask them the question, and they'd be just like, "Oh my God, what do I say, man?" You know what I mean? You're just
good cock, man. A good cock, man.
Yeah. Good cock, man. But they'd be like a rabbit to headlights,
big pair, lads, big pair.
Yeah. But it's a bit frustrating and stuff like that. But yeah, so I'll move on. What would you think would take for Arteta to get out of the club, like for them to actually turn around and get rid of him? Warren, go on. Forced reaction there. Your face tells it all.
I don't think they will.
Do you
Because
not?
I've got really like fucking crazy conspiracy theory about it. I don't think they want to get Champions League. And I think they're doing everything in their power to stop the club getting it. Because they know if we get into the Champions League, they're going to have to spend shitloads of money. Otherwise, the club will get really badly embarrassed. And it will, I think, because the club's got a self-sustaining model, I think that they know that they're going to have to spend more than what they'll make through the self-sustaining model in order to make it make a success of it. So I don't think they want it, and I think Arteta is doing what they want him to do, i.e., not getting competitive. Because I don't think they want the club to be competitive. They're not interested in that. They're just interested in making pounds, shilling, and pence. That's all they're interested in.
Well, see, this is the thing, and like it's just like Stan. He just bought Arsenal because he could, and it's like just a little toy for his son. You know what I mean? And it's just you go and get experience there and try and run this club and see what happens. He doesn't give a fuck what happens, Arsenal, and it's a pity because it's like there's a lot of fans that he's hurting their feelings and what everything else that goes with it. It's not just a toy. You know what I mean? But this is the way they're treating it, as if it's a toy. It's not a toy to me. It's like, oh, you love football. And
I have an American gooner, a man by the name of Daniel Phillips, and I had him on my old School Gunner fan cam maybe 3 or 4 months ago. And Daniel Phillips is, of course, living over in the US. And I asked him one question. What is he like? What is Kroenke like in America? What's people's perception of him? Yeah, perception of the both of them. He told me, Dave, all they cared about at the end of the day, man, is the balance sheet. It's a capitalist country. They're capitalists. All they're looking at is how much money have I made. Bottom line, nothing else matters for the two of them. I think that says it all.
2 things, right? Every other franchise that they own, none of the supporters from those franchises have got a good word to say about him.
No.
Second thing is they're waiting for that Super League to come to fruition and become a reality because they know that they're going to make fucking shitloads of money. That's why he doesn't want to sell. That's why he doesn't want to sell the club, And when I was doing the research for that video I did last weekend about where do we go from here, right? I saw that Forbes valued us at about 2.8 billion. So it's no surprise that he didn't sell the club when that guy from Spotify offered 2 billion. I mean, if you had a Mars bar and it was worth £1, you're not going to sell it for 50p, are you?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? You're not. So,
even with your man Elk or whatever the fuck his name is, would he be spending money? Do you reckon?
I think he would. I think he would. I trust in him.
Mate. I don't think he has.
But he would spend a little bit. I think he would spend a bit of money and invest it in the team. Okay, he's not as rich as the 2 boys. But Bergkamp came in on his side. Vieira came in on his side. Henry came in on his side. They supported his takeover bid. They wouldn't have done that if they thought the guy was a creep. But he doesn't have the money of the 2 Americans. I agree with Warren. Before Warren goes off on me.
I don't think he's got the money. I think he probably would like to spend the money. But I think it was more about doing, for the share price of Spotify. Because when it was publicised that he was trying to buy Arsenal, it shot up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. I'm just going to go to Vicky's question here. It's a good one. Vicky, big up you, Man United supporter. Is it Arteta's fault for our lack of forwards? Dave, what do you think?
God.
Is it Arteta's fault for the lack of forwards? Yeah, of course. The buck stops with him. He's the manager. Look, it's like I always say. Last summer, in pre-season, we had a chance to get some players. But like I said, at the end of last season, he should have had a short list of the players that he wanted. If you've got 3 positions that you want to strengthen, have 3 options for each line that you want to strengthen. I mean, I would do that. You would do that, and so would Warren. These guys are meant to be professionals. You go into the transfer season, then you go into close season, transfer window, whatever you want to call it, and you go for your first choice. If you can't get him, you go for your second choice. Of course, it's his fault. And what about the thing with Aubameyang leaving? I mean, we've got nobody as backup. Spurs do better than us in the transfer market, believe it or not. Okay, they're at 6s and 7s at the moment. They're all over the place. But they outdo us in the transfer market. And they have been doing it for quite a few seasons. They built the team maybe the last year or two. It got better. But us, I mean, we seem to be very late to the party the whole time. You know what I mean? We never seem to have anything organized. We never seem to have anything set up. Nothing at all. You know what I mean? I can see the comment. It's a funny one. But we never, like, this is serious business. We never seem to kind of, we don't approach it from the right starting point. We're late about things. We're lazy. We're disorganized. It's unprofessional from the top to the bottom. Don't tell me we can't get better players. Like, I mean, of course we can buy a better striker. If they knew Aubameyang was going to go, and if Mikel Arteta was on his period and he wanted Aubameyang out, then why the hell didn't they have somebody lined up? I mean, it's common sense. You don't like the player, you want rid of him, grand job, fair enough, but have somebody lined up. What is going on up there? Now, maybe by some miracle, I don't know how, because Mikel Arteta screws it up every time, we might have a chance of getting into the top 4 in Champions League football. We might have a chance, but we haven't brought in a striker and give us 9-10 goals pushed to the end of the season. It's the business end of the season now. You know what I mean? Look, it's like this, right? Last year, in the summertime, now, Warren, you know this, right? There was the whole thing about Granit Xhaka insulting the fans' intelligence. The thing with Granit Xhaka. So you've got the Albanian who plays for Switzerland, the worst player I've ever seen in my life. I saw him play live. I saw him kick the ball with his dodgy leg. He was meant to be going to AS Roma, and Jose Mourinho was interested in him. Why the fuck would Jose Mourinho be interested in a crap player like him? Anyway, that was dead in the water 6 weeks ago. Arsenal at the time were still talking about it, and they were feeding it to the media, and the fans were lapping it up. You know what I mean? Gazzetta dello Sport in Italy said that move to Roma had been dead in the water 6 weeks ago, official. Arsenal were still lapping it up. And you want to know why they were doing that? They were insulting our intelligence. The whole reason was when the fantasy move to Roma fell through, they could say, well, at least we tried to sell him. You don't try to sell a player, then when it backfires and you can't sell him, you don't give him a new contract. You don't give him an extended contract on a better wage. They do what they did to Mesut Ozil. They froze him out. That's what you do to a player that you don't want. You don't give him a new contract and you don't give him a better wage. Now, they were trying to insult our intelligence. The move to Roma was never going to happen. Warren, what do you think about that? I mean, come on, like Arteta, man. Things like that, man.
What do you think?
It's typical. Absolutely typical Arsenal. Because they know that the fans don't like him, so they just strung it all along because it'd take their attention away from what's really going on, which was nothing. Now, the thing about the strikers, yes, it is his fault, because not one forward player at this club has done well under his coaching. None of them.
You've gone backwards.
Yeah. And the fact that we weren't able to get anyone, because apparently, allegedly, went in for that Serbian guy, we weren't able to get him. We tried to get that Isaac, we couldn't get him. The thing is, when these players are looking about whether they're going to come, they're going to be sitting there thinking, right, are they going to create chances for me to score goals? Am I going to thrive in that team? Is my career going to progress? And I think all the answers to those questions are no. And then that also, football's a small world. They'll be talking to each other. These players will be ringing Aubameyang and Lacazette saying, what do you think about this Arsenal club? Are they any good? Is it a good place for me to go? What do you think they're going to be telling them? Do you know what I mean? It's just crazy. You know, and it's a big concern for me because I think we might struggle to get players in the summer. Lacazette will be gone. Nketiah is going to be gone. So what are we going to have? We're going to have Balogun and Martinelli
The reputation of the club, yeah, it's not. We're not attractive. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's not an attractive thing to come to Arsenal now. Remember '98, man? That's a long time ago. But look at Vieira and Petit. Jesus, we had Robert Perez and Mark Overmars. I won't mention him anyway.
Do you know what? One thing about Mark Overmars. Actually, Dave, I was looking at your channel. You were talking about Mark Overmars, and I remember. I remember when I was looking at your channel and you were talking about him. I remember the day we signed him, and it was back before the social media and all stuff like that, and newspaper talk, and I remember every day I was on my summer holidays from school, and I ran up to get the newspaper, and I seen Overmars, you remember Airtel, is that what
Airtel?
Yeah, the news used to be refreshing the page all the time and all that. But you used to call it teletext, is it?
Teletext.
Yeah, teletext. So I remember refreshing all that, and then there was talk of Overmars coming to Arsenal. I was just like, oh my God. I asked me, Ma, here, give us €1, Ma, will you? I ran up to the shops, bought the newspaper, and there it is, Overmars signed for us. I was just like, oh my God, we're after getting Overmars. And then I remember going to bed that night then, and I woke up, and I thought it was all a dream, and I was gutted. You know that way you're just there, oh shit, that was a fucking dream, man. And next thing, no, fucking happy days, he signed him. It was just one of these, I just, look, I know he done bad things recently, but what a player for Arsenal, I just want to read this comment down here. Josh's ghostwriter is very, very good. He managed to hit all the sentimental pressure points for the gullible, easy, manipulated customer base, eating up what they're being served. Lads, what do you make of the fucking clowns that are out there? The fucking Egypt fans, as I call them. Warren, go on. Your face tells it all. Put me up.
Mate, have you heard the latest one? They're all steaming into fucking Thierry Henry.
Oh, here. Fuck. Do me. Here. I'll be doing that next week. I'll be hitting them up next week.
They wouldn't say it to his face. I guarantee you they would not stand there and say it to the man's face.
They're going in on him because he said that if we don't get top 4, it will be a failure.
Yeah.
They're having a go at him.
So he tells the truth, is it?
I'm thinking, this is unbelievable. Like, you're having a go at probably Arsenal's greatest ever player, or if not the second best player, right? Do they not understand who this guy is and what he's done for the club? He was unbelievable.
Yeah.
He was just different level. He really was. And then it's just complete and utter disrespect. And
he's the greatest ever Premier League player, Warren.
Yeah, exactly. Man. They're doing that to defend this clown, Mikel Arteta, right? And
this is the thing.
What did he? Why? I just don't understand why they're defending it. Why he gets so much people defending
and even if they disagree with Henry, he has earned respect. They should respect him.
The man can say what he wants. You know what I mean?
Man is a gentleman, and he knows football. You ever see his analysis? You ever see him, man, when he's on he's on the panel giving his views? Everyone is just quiet, man, when he talks. He knows football.
It's not even that. It's look at his CV. Like, look at his trophy cabinet. Yeah, so sit down and shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? The man has... He's
a better coach than Arteta, and so is Patrick Vieira. And they're 10 times the player that Arteta will ever be. 2 Arsenal legends and an Everton reject. He could take the pencil case my mum got me and stick it up his...
I honestly
he's not an Arsenal legend,
do
man.
not understand why he gets so much...
Muppet.
So many people defending him and like standing up for him, and you say
they
anything
fancy Warren, fancy when they want to kiss him. They fancy
if you say anything against him, you get attacked. You saw what happened this afternoon, Del Boy. I can guarantee you that fella who come in my chat. This has been happening for a few weeks. I reckon it's the same fella.
For fuck's sake. He'd be fucking attacking me now. He's like bleeding COVID, I'd say.
I hope he attacks me anyway.
I'm after catching it off you, Warren.
But do you know
Hopefully
what I mean?
he will attack you, man, and you can put him to sleep.
He hasn't achieved anything as a player. He hasn't achieved anything as a manager, so why are they defending him?
This is the thing.
He's pure ignorant, man. He's ignorant. Well, of course, he's Spanish, but he's ignorant. He's arrogant. You know what I mean? I'm working with a couple of Spanish now. They're exactly the same. But you know what I mean? It's just the attitude, man. Yeah, you heard me. I'm having to go to Spanish and Arteta. But it's his attitude, man. I mean, like, look at Patrick Vieira. Patrick Vieira is an Arsenal legend. Remember his last kick for the team? The winning penalty against United in the 2005 FA Cup final, yeah? That's the kind of player we're talking about. He was looking to come to London. He was looking for a coaching role. He had been over at New York City FC. He's 10 times the player and the manager Arteta will ever be. Why the hell didn't we take a chance on him? Because he's not a yes man like Arteta. That's
exactly.
Why.
And
he should have been given an opportunity. He's an Arsenal legend, man. Arteta should have been sent packing.
Like what I say, Dave, as well, and I've said it before, like, you know, about Paddy Vieira. Like, he went to Man City and he was at the under-23s or under-18 squad, and he, like, you know, that's fair enough. And then he went over to New York and he managed a team over there. So he's managing a senior football team with all the bells and whistles with it. Went over to Nice, done a job there, done okay there. Didn't light up the world, but he still has experience. He's gaining experience, and then now he's coming over to Crystal Palace and he's doing an okay job. Like, you know, right. Yeah, like, you know, they're not exactly. Well, I suppose I'd be settled in the Premier League the year before. They just sort of flirted with relegation, let's say, but they survived. You know, so they're not a guaranteed Premiership team, but he's doing okay with them. But we just get Arteta, and everyone's there bigging him up and this and that. You know, this is where we're at. At the time, before we got Arteta, who did you guys want at the time?
Before we got Arteta? Allegri or Ancelotti?
Yeah. Ancelotti was the one I was going for. There wasn't that many options out there back then. I don't know, but yeah.
More for me, it was about the profile and what was on the CV. I was more concerned that we got someone who had experience of doing a rebuild and who had a track record of winning trophies and being successful and sorting out a mess. Because our club was a mess, and I knew that it would be a struggle for any manager in the world to turn it round because we were in such a mess. And to give it to a novice, no one has ever managed before. I just, till this day, I'm still baffled by it. I can't work it out.
The tea at Manchester City, man. That's what he was doing.
The only explanation I can give for it is that it fits in with this mad conspiracy theory of mine. Do you know what I mean? Because if you look at it through that perspective, it makes perfect sense. Because someone who's inexperienced to that level and with the club like state we were in, they're not going to be successful because they won't know what to do.
But they were smart too, Warren, because like myself anyway, when I heard, okay, we need a manager, the Wenger areas over Unai Emery. I mean, he's a better coach than Arteta, obviously. But he was gone too. And then in came Mikel Arteta. But they pulled the wool over our eyes, and me too, myself included, because they used a former player, and I knew the name. And that's how they got it past. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't even question it. I thought, geez, former player, Mikel Arteta. And that's kind of the way the game was going at the time. Former players were coming back to their clubs, and they were getting management roles. So that's how they got it past my radar. I mean, my defenses. Otherwise, I would have been against it. I don't know. It's like they just got in a guy that's a yes man, that's a puppet, that they can make as much money off him. They kind of give us a little bit of hope and they keep us on the hook. But it'll never be more than that. I feel sorry. I'm going to let you have a word now, guys, but I feel sorry for the younger players at the club. I feel especially sorry for the Smith Rowes, the Sakas, the Ramsdales, because they're young guys, but your football career is very short. And if we had a better manager, a real manager, Arteta is not a manager. If we had a real manager, we could get the best. They could get the best out of their careers. And you never know. You never know. We might win the league at some point if we brought in the players that we need. But I feel sorry for the young players because they will not develop with a guy like him at the helm and with those two American clowns. I feel sorry for those guys because they have a lot of potential, they have a lot of ability, but things like that will shape them and they might miss out. They might not become the player they were meant to be. We have a really good group of young players there and we could do something. But with him as coach, forget it, man. Forget
The
it.
thing is, if we had a decent coach this season with the squad we've got, we would be like second or third in the table. We would, because we wouldn't have lost to United. We wouldn't have lost to Everton. We wouldn't have lost against Brentford. That's 9 points. And look how far behind we are in the table. Do you know what I mean? Second or third, right? And
as well, Warren, you would have beaten Burnley as well. 0-0.
Exactly. So it's 11 points.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So,
This is it.
No, I was just going to say the other two, obviously, is Antonio Conte or Diego Simeone.
I always kind of...
Because he's done it on a shoestring,
Oh, that lunatic, that lunatic Simeone you're talking about. What a lunatic.
But do you know what? Probably, like, he what he's done, Simeone, he's just sort of changed up his football a bit at the minute, and that's why they're doing fucking shit in La Liga at the minute, like, just reading this comment here: Arsenal and Man United both not being taken seriously anymore, though lack of areas on the pitch needed to be focused on by people upstairs. And like, they're in the same situation as ourselves with the Glazers, like, you know what I mean? They're taking the piss out of United as well. Another, like, look, we all loved the rivalry back then, you know what I mean? It was just a great time for football, I thought, because it was just absolutely the games. And even, let's say you'd be watching an Arsenal game and the first result you always looked for was United. Did they win? Did they get a draw? Like, it was always, and you'll never forget, like, even down at the pub and you're fucking Arsenal, Man United, and you're bleeding, giving it fucking loads to the other supporters and all. Now, Dave, you'll know this. I've always been in my local pub. There's me and there's probably 2 other Arsenal fans, but they're weirdos. I don't talk to them. So it was just basically, you know what I mean? So I'd be giving it fucking the big one, Billy Big Balls there, giving it fucking loads. And just a pub full of United supporters. But then I always had the Liverpool supporters having me back. You know what I mean? So it was all right. Yeah.
In Cork, it was bad too because everyone was a Roy Keane fan. You know what I mean? Roy Keane was United. So I was like, I was in the flying battle, like, and the battle would always be flying, but normally at my head. I had to keep my head down. I'm serious. Like, you'd have to keep your head down. You could actually get assaulted, like. So it was like that, though. If you said a thing about Roy, man, in Cork, watch your back. You know what I mean? Don't say anything bad about Roy. Because Jesus, and his dad Mossy will come down. Mossy Keane will come down, and he was 60. Well, he'll lay you out. He'll put you down on the ground. Mossy was a tough man. You know what I mean?
Are they in Cove? Is that where they're from in Cork? Is it?
Oh, they're from an absolute scumhole of a place called Mayfield.
Oh fuck yeah!
It's on the north side of Cork City, and it's called Mayfield.
That's the Millwall of Cork.
That is the Millwall of Cork. Yeah, but they're like. He went into. I told Warren he went into like his local one day after he was coming back from signing with United, and he came in with Calvin Klein this and Gucci that. You know what I mean?
No way,
man. He came in giving it the big un, and he was like Flash Harry. You know what I mean? And they actually almost tried to rip the clothes off his body, and they told him to go outside and come back when you're yourself, the normal Roy. So he came in like maybe a couple of days later, normal guy, quiet, I'll have a pint. And he sat by the bar and they were like, all right, now we can start from there again, Roy. And if he went in like the Flash Harry, you know what I mean, with the Rolex, with the shirt, big man back from the UK, professional, they ripped him apart, man. I swear to God. He was lucky I'm not joking, though. He was lucky to survive that. I'm telling you, man, they were like, geez, what happened to you? You know, why you being such a... I'd
well believe that. Like, that's the way
people. But he's a tough guy, though, Roy. I mean, he's a tough guy. I mean, he's not a shrinking violet. He is as tough as he looks. He is as tough as he looks. If he's standing in front of you, man, he's got to stare like, my God.
Mir, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. And I met him before. Where I live, the Irish team, the international team, sort of train. Not, I'd say, a 5-10 minute drive from me. And I remember they were down.
No, Tala. No,
Malahide.
Malahide.
But that's where they were training at the minute. But they have their own place now over near Blanchardstown. But I remember the sort of fans could come up near where they were getting onto the coach. And I remember at the time, I think it was near the World Cup 2002. We won't mention that. Keep going. But anyway, this was before they were sort of doing the training, before they were going to the World Cup. And I met Roy as he's going onto the bus. I didn't give a fuck about anyone else, but I wanted to get Roy. And I'm saying, Roy, any chance of getting a picture? And he stopped and he just looked at me and he goes, like, he didn't say anything. And I just go, is that a yeah? Like, you know, and he goes, will you come on? And I was like, oh, fuck, yeah. And I'm there trying to get me phone bleeding. Get the fucking camera on quick, for fuck's sake. Roy's just there waiting. You know, come on, you prick. And I got the picture and it was fucking blurred. So it could have been bleeding. Me brother for all I know, you know what I mean? It's good.
That's a real pity.
He does strike the fear in you, in fairness, like, you know what I mean?
He's
back on track. Let's talk about this. Let's say someone that's not Roy Keane and it's Shaka. And I asked the question earlier on, what does it take to get Arteta out of the club? What the fuck does it take to get this prick out of the club? Excuse my French.
I don't know. Could we organise a kidnapping maybe? I don't know. Is that allowed?
We should bring him down to Cork, to that pub, get rid of him.
What are the rules of engagement with him? Like, I mean, I lived in Switzerland for 10 years until the end of 2020. So I was living in Zurich for 10 years. And of course, he plays for the Swiss national side. He is the captain. And we had a thing going on with a WhatsApp group there. We used to go watch Champions League in the Irish bar together over in Zurich. And all the lads were Swiss. And they believe that he is the Messiah. They honestly think he's as good as Diego Maradona. I'm not joking, yeah. And they don't call him like Granny, Durrani. This is like the Shaka. Oh, Shaka. Because like half of Switzerland is Albanian. There's a load of Albanians there. Of course, they come from Basel. Shaka comes from Basel, not from Zurich. FC Basel. His brother Torrent plays for Basel. But they believe that he is the greatest player to ever kick a ball. I think he's crap. I think he's good enough for the Swiss League. With all respect to the Swiss League, it's better than the Irish League. Just saying. But I think he's good enough for the Swiss League, but he is not good enough for the Premier League. That's my opinion on it. Of course, as a person, he's a bellend. As a football player, he's extremely slow. I mean, when he loses the ball, he's fucking around. Sorry, no, he's messing around with the ball in areas you shouldn't be. Roy Keane would never do that. I mean, don't be playing across the 6-yard box. Don't be playing in front of the back four. He plays in areas where if you lose the ball, it's fatal. If you lose it up front in the opposition box, you'll have a chance to respond. But he loses it deep in our own half. And we can't get back. And sure, he just turns around like and throws his hands up and looks at someone else. The ball's on the back of the net. Shaka, man. What do we have to do to get rid of him? Honestly, I just hope he gets a very bad injury. That's the only thing that's going to save us. I don't want to wish that on any player, but he, like throwing the captain's armband on the ground, telling the fans to go fuck themselves. I mean, sorry about my language, guys. There's no excuse for that, yeah? There's kids at the ground. There's people looking up to him. What kind of a role model is he? Throwing the captain's armband on the ground, spitting, cursing at the fans, and he is a crap player. At least when Diego Costa did it, he'd come back the next day and score a hat-trick for you, and he'd smash the ball into the roof of the net. You could expect it with Roy Keane, man, because Roy Keane delivered the goods. But he'd never throw the captain's armband on the ground and curse the fans. He would just try to end Alfinga Haaland's career. That was his thing. He'd only try to take the head off Alan Shearer. That was Roy's thing. He would never do that, man. And Xhaka is a crap player. So why put up with it? He's useless.
Yeah.
Man.
And Dave, like me and you.
Warren's face, man. Look at Warren's face.
I know, and I'm going
Warren.
Here, Dave. That's why I'm just getting my little fucking
Warren.
before Warren jumps in. He's like our fucking Glenn Whelan. You know what I mean? You knew I was going to say that.
Warren's going to sum it up no better than I ever could, man. Warren's going to sum it up.
Granit Xhaka is the worst midfield player ever to play for Arsenal. There you go. That's my opinion of it. He's the worst midfield player ever to pull on an Arsenal shirt. And I've seen some bad ones, like Ian Selly and fucking the likes of him. And no, man, he's terrible. And what's it going to take to get rid of him? I don't think we're the only way he's going to leave this club is when his contract expires and he hangs his boot up. He's here. I think he's here to the long haul, and I just don't see him leaving. I don't, because I think he knows he's not going to want to leave, and I just can't see it happening because the club love him for some reason.
I don't get it.
The pudding, man. The proof in the pudding. No clubs ever come in for him. Why is that?
Yeah.
Because he's crap. No clubs ever show interest in him if he's meant to be this great player. They never show interest because they know it's just a facade. He's a nothing player. We never get interest from any clubs for him, man. Never.
Nonsense that was spoken about him during the Euros about what a great Euros he had. He had
the enforcer, midfield enforcer.
The French team that was all over the shop. And on the basis of that, he had a great Euros. I'm sorry, it was shocking.
He had one fucking good game, and I think Gary Lineker talked about it, and then that was it. Like, you know what I mean? And, like, you know, just like what you were saying there, it's like, who the fuck gets the captain's armband? And you think of all the captains of Arsenal, okay? And try to think this. Would one of them done what he done? You know what I mean? It just shows you he's a soft-centered little prick. You know what I mean? You know, you're not a leader. Because to be a leader, you have good days, you have bad days, and you know, you have to get on with it. You know what I mean? You have to lead your team. If you're getting booed, that's grand. Take it on the chin, move on to the next game. If you're not being good enough in the game, you're playing shit, that's grand. Players have shit games. Messi has shit games. Ronaldo has shit games. Dust yourself down and get on with it. You know what I mean? But to throw the captain's armband on the ground and then start doing that to the fans, if I was in charge, he would have been let go free the next day because there's no way he should be at Arsenal. You know,
the worst thing is,
what do you think
the training ground?
Graham had been manager when he'd done that. Seriously, then you think about the other captains: David O'Leary, Tony Adams,
Paddy Vieira,
all these guys. Never have had him for
I'm telling you, right?
Dinner and tea.
He's on the training ground standing next to Arteta, and he's looking at Thomas Partey, and he's looking at some other midfield players. I think once he gave a bit of advice to Guendouzi. No wonder Guendouzi left. But I mean, if I was on that training ground there, and if Xhaka ever tried to give me advice on how to play in the midfield, you know what I would do? I would laugh straight into his face. And if he wants to throw the hands, we can throw the hands. But I would laugh straight into his face. If he ever tried to give me advice on how to play in the midfield, I would laugh him off the field, man. What a joke. What a muppet. He's giving guys advice during training. He's giving them advice. He's psycho, man. He thinks he's the best player to ever play for Arsenal. He is deluded. He's out of his mind.
And even did you think
we got better players out on loan than him. Guendouzi, Torreira, both of them are having the team ahead of him.
And they wanted Torreira was begging to play for the club. He was begging Arteta. Could he play? He was begging. He was down on his hands and knees. And they wouldn't even let him play. And they keep that clown. Don't even get me started on him, man. I mean, idiot.
Well, even just we'll move on a bit before we all go a bit more grey or lose our hair, like, you know what I mean? Because he's dreaming, just even talking.
I do have hair, guys, like I said, so there's less of that. Use the hair thing.
You know what I mean? But Who would you get in the summer? You know, in as midfield. Let's say I don't think he's leaving either in the summertime. But who would you get to sort of try and kick on and push him out of midfield?
Who is a really good midfield player?
Well, do you know
Madison.
I think Guendouzi
Different type of
back.
player, but yeah, Guendouzi, Torreira.
I think Guendouzi back.
I'm always shouting Basuma off Brighton. Really think
Yeah,
he's a
no,
good
that's
player.
a good shout.
You know, it's 50 million and you get him. You know, but I think the time we should have got him would have been last summer, because I think Liverpool and United will be going big time in for him. He's a good enough player, like, you know. So that's my sort of take on it. Anyone else you can think would
I like Mikkel Forsberg, but I'm not sure what club he's at. Mikkel Forsberg, the guy that played for Sweden in the Euros.
Called Mikkel.
Absolutely, yeah.
We're trying to get them
fucking player, man. What a player.
Yeah.
What a player, man. What a player for Sweden, man. Every time I saw him, he was hitting the post, hitting the bar with the ball from nothing. He's just an incredible striker with the ball. Just incredible talent. A bit like Freddie Lundberg. He reminds me of Lundberg, but Lundberg, not because they're both Swedish, but Lundberg was more like the fox in the box. Forsberg attacks from outside, from deep. But they both are incredible in the box. Like, the runs are just... And he cracks the post. Check him out, man. He's very good. I like him.
I think
for a forward, I picked the guy for Villa. What's the English player that plays for Villa? I can never remember his name. The young English striker.
Watkins.
Yeah, wow. Big fan, man. I think he's really good.
He's a good
Ollie
player.
Watkins is a handful. He's a real handful. In the air, on the deck. Very fast.
There was talk the other day about Tielemans as well.
Oh, yeah.
Well, see, this is the thing, right? And this is my little theory.
Maybe Raheem Sterling. Maybe we can get Raheem Sterling from Manchester City.
If you give... I know, I was just about to say, if you give him a hit now...
Mbappe's on his way.
Yeah.
Mbappe's at the airport. Mbappe. Lionel Messi wants to finish his career with a North London derby. Go on, Lionel Messi. He'll take him for the last season.
Sure he does.
Mbappe.
The only thing I think, like, let's say if we could get, like what you says there, Warren, is Tielemans. Let's say, because I think it's his contract up this year or it's next year or something. He's gone into the last year of his contract.
I'm not sure. There's a lot of talk.
He's an animal.
Because they are talking about trying to extend his contract, but I don't think he wants to. So you'll get the likes of Liverpool, Arsenal, Man United, Man City, Chelsea going for him. So I'm just sort of hoping that, let's say, he'll overshadow Basuma and then we can swoop in and try and get Basuma then. You know what I mean?
Højbjerg for Spurs is very good, man. I like him.
Yeah, do you really like him? Like, he is a good player.
Animal, man. Animal.
Yeah, he's good. Like, I'm not going to lie. It's just anyone with a score short on, I just don't look at them as, like, you know.
Yeah, of course. Well, he makes Xhaka look like, you know what I mean? I'll see Xhaka. But Højbjerg, when he goes forward, he's got three guys hanging off him, and he's still going forward with the ball. He's just so strong. You see that, though? There's like three guys actually trying to drag him back, and he's still moving forward with the ball. He's an animal, man. We need someone strong. We've got no strong midfield player. No one.
His performances haven't been that great. And I think it's because the players he's playing next to have been so crap. They end up having to try and do their job as well. And it's too much.
Well, here, I just wanted to sort of, you know, the way we were talking about Xhaka, I feel for Vicky here as well, because who would you rather? This is a good question. Harry Maguire or Xhaka as captain of your club? Which would you rather?
Harry Maguire.
You would?
Well, Harry Maguire or who?
Xhaka.
Harry Maguire, of course.
I know what I'd have. Maguire all day long.
All day long, yeah. Silly question. Okay, next question. Harry Maguire, man.
Yeah,
right. In the transfer market, we need a CDM and we need a number 8 and we need 2 strikers. Because Nketiah is going, Lacazette's going. We ain't going to have any strikers except for Martinelli. So he won't be able to play every game all the time.
Mm.
Yeah.
And
Well,
especially
can't play the
in
youth team
European
players. I mean, they're
football
not
as
up to it.
well.
Like, see, the thing about it is, I think he's going to try. Well, I'd try and put Martinelli as a striker, because we're like Eddie Nketiah is gone, Laka's gone. Yeah, well, as we're speaking to you, you know what I mean. They're out of contract. Obviously, Aubameyang's gone, but where's our strikers? You're going to need like world class strikers in your team.
Yeah.
You're going to need at least two to sign.
Exactly.
And to get any decent striker at the minute is a minimum of 50 million. A minimum of 50 million. So if you need two of them, that's 100 million. You know what I mean? So,
if you could be looking at more, you could be looking 100 mil plus.
Well, see, the Cronkies have that money, but they won't pay. They won't pay up. They have that money usually. Pocket change.
This is why I'm so concerned about it, because I just can't see it happening. I can see us buying that fella from Blackburn. You know, the guy who's banging in all the goals for Blackburn.
Oh, yeah.
Chilean fella, is it?
I don't know. I know there's a fella at Blackburn and he's banging in goals left, right, and centre.
But even how much are you going to pay for him? Like,
exactly.
will he hit the ground running in the Premier League?
And will he want to come?
Yeah, like Blackburn Blackburn are looking good to get promoted. Like, if I was him,
he's what I mean? Guaranteed first team football. He's guaranteed. You know what I mean? His position, he's guaranteed they're going to play him.
Yeah, exactly. Well, like if I was him, I'd be there saying, why not stay here for the season? I'm in the Premier League, light the Premier League up, and then a bigger, like, Arsenal fans, sit back in your seat. A bigger club may come in for you, i.e. Man City or Chelsea or something like that, where you can win titles. You can go into the Champions League.
We can't compete with them now. We can't compete with them.
Obviously. I've got another disturbing news. We might need another left back.
Yeah, because Tavares is
on his way to Real Madrid.
Who? Tierney?
Yeah, could be going to Real Madrid, I heard. My dad's mate up in Scotland was telling me there's loads of chatter up there about he's being linked to a move to Real Madrid.
There you go.
Probably ahead of the second leg ahead of the match against PSG, is it?
Yeah. Like, and this is a thing where I've always been sort of saying, like, you know what I mean? Everyone's talking about all the youth and all this and blah blah, but if big clubs come in for these guys and are offering them big wages, they can offer Arsenal can as well, but they also can offer the Champions League and to go far in the Champions League. It's far more attractive to go to these places, and this is where we're going to be left behind. So then where's your project youth going then? It
all started to go wrong for Arsenal, man, years ago when we sold Van Persie to United and we sold Alexis Sanchez to United. Okay, Van Persie had a great season and won the league title with United, which is what he wanted. He would never have done that at the end of his Arsenal career. Let's be honest about it. We weren't up to it. He won it with United, and then Alexis Sanchez went and he had an absolute nightmare, something which Sanchez deserved because he's a scumbag. But I mean, he's just an idiot, and I liked him before that, but I hate him now. He's a muppet. I'm glad you reap what you sow. You know what I mean? Every dog has his day. Van Persie, the opposite. He came back to haunt us. He had a great season, incredible player, top notch, and he told it like it was. You know what I mean? And he wasn't one of those guys that bowed down to Wenger like a little bitch. You know what I mean? He went off and did his thing, and he got the league title, and he was a happy man, and he retired, and he went out with a bang. You know what I mean? But that's when it started to go wrong for us, because before we would never sell Bergkamp and Henry or anyone like that to a rival in the Premier League. You don't sell to a rival. Sell outside of the country. Piers Morgan, okay, people are divided about him. It's a divisive name, but he was absolutely raging when we sold Van Persie to United. He was ripping. Would you blame him? You know what I mean? That's when it started to go wrong for us. We were becoming a small club, giving our best players to Manchester United, and they went on to win the league with Van Persie. I mean, come on, like, who sanctioned that? Who sanctioned that?
And this whole business about the Project Roof, I just think it's a lot of bollocks. I do, because it's never happened. It's never, ever happened, because you need a little sprinkling of experienced players to guide them. And then, but what happens if they all get to 24, 25 and it hasn't banged?
Exactly, yeah. Where are we
going? Start again. Do you know what I mean? Or they get cherry picked. Say Saka goes to Man City, Tierney goes to Real Madrid. I don't know. Smith Rowe goes to Chelsea. He's got mates at Chelsea. It's not beyond the realms of possibility he could end up there if we just don't pull it out the bag, you know?
Yeah. It's going to happen like that, I think, Ryan. We're going to lose them at some point. We have to kind of...
So, you know, I just think it's a lot of bollocks. You know, and with young players as well, you always, because they're inexperienced, their form goes up and down like a yo-yo. It happened when George Graham first came. The form went up and down like a yo-yo. We had this really good spell. We were challenging for the title, and then come March, it just all fell apart.
Consistency, yeah, it was indifferent.
But the difference then was that he made sure he had experienced head in the team to guide them, like Sir Dave O'Leary and
good Irishman.
Yeah.
Learza, he liked to be called Learza.
Yeah, there was a few others, Eddie Sansom and whatnot. Do you know what I mean? But he can't seem to handle coaching players who've got a bit of something about them or that have got experience, because they know he's talking bollocks.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And he just falls out with them.
Take my advice. I started looking yesterday online. Everton pencil cases.
There's going to be a push for them now on eBay.
Everton pencil case is coming back, man. It's coming back. I'm going to be looking for it. Get onto the mother there in a while. Find the love. Send me one over. I'm here in London now. Maybe I can find it here. Everton pencil case. I'm telling you, it's coming back.
Not selling them on that Amazon, old school.
Yeah, the Arsenal ones are like half price, but the Everton ones are more expensive, of course, because you know. And then I can start flogging them outside the Emirates, like.
Exactly.
I mean? And when I get stabbed, I'll just make sure that I'm standing next to an ambulance or next to the policeman when I actually get stabbed. You know what I mean? Because that could happen.
Big up Amondi, big up Del Boy. It's going to be a furious finish for the top four, and I kept this one up because my next question: can we get top four, and do you want it, Warren?
What was the last bit of the question?
Can we get top four, and do you want it? Like, will we get slapped every week or what?
I want us to finish as high as we possibly can. I do.
Yeah.
But whether we will get it or not, I don't think we will. I think we're going to finish 7th or 8th.
You think so? Yeah, that low, like.
Huh?
Do you think we'll finish that low?
Yeah, I do. Because, like I was saying before, I think the inexperience will be the undoing. I can't see where the goals are coming from.
I can hear you. Keep going.
All right. I can't see where the goals are going to come from. I think it's a very inexperienced squad, which is going to be a problem. And, you know, I just can't see how they're going to pull it off, because I don't think the manager's up to the job.
Dave, what do you think?
Yeah, I'd have to echo Warren's sentiments, to be honest. And I'm from Cork. I don't like to agree with anyone. I like to disagree with people. But I'll have to. I read Roy Keane's book. I'd have to agree with Warren, though. I mean, I do want us to finish as high as we can. I don't think we're going to get top 4, because of what Warren said too. But I think also we go through phases like in different form, and I think we tend to dip a little bit. We don't have the firepower. That's my opinion on it. We're only in the position we are now. I know we're not in the top 4 right now, but we're only in the position because United, okay, they won the last time, but they're got into a bit of bad form. Spurs are struggling. West Ham aren't doing the business. If they were going grand, we wouldn't have a hope in hell. We're only getting a chance because they're after hitting a rough patch. You know what I mean? The teams around us. I think if we go into the Champions League, we will get absolutely destroyed. I don't think we'll make it out of the group stage. I mean, think back to the Europa League semi-final against Villarreal. Okay, they have a decent team, but do you remember Arteta's tactics in the second leg at the Emirates when we were still in with a shout?
I don't think we get past the playoff game, mate. I don't think we get past the playoff game.
No. Yeah, if we have to go through the playoffs, we're going to get turned over. Simple as that. I think we're not strong enough.
We've lost every single game we played against the traditional top four, i.e. Man City, Man United and Chelsea.
Yeah, it's a great point.
Man United, Man City, Chelsea and Liverpool, we lost every game we played against them so far. That's why I'm feeling not very optimistic about our chances. Because we've got to play Liverpool at home, we've got to play Chelsea away, we've got to play United at home, and we've got to play Spurs away. And we never do well at White Hart Lane. Well, we haven't done well at White Hart Lane for years.
And more often than not, the top teams destroy us. They don't just beat us; they destroy us.
So that's like 12 points down the toilet already.
Destroyed. They just batter us. We get absolutely. I don't know what goes on in the change room before the game, but a few people need to man up as well. You know, they need to man up.
I suppose it's the attitude that they go out in. Like, you know, the coach has to rile them up and get them going. You know, and just what Wacker's saying here, you all remember when the Gunners went through that period of trying to pass the ball into the net? The time must have been as frustrating as hell for you. Yeah, like, you know, we definitely, I remember it, to be in the 6-yard box and they'd still be passing it, and you're just like, shoot the fucking ball, please. You know? But,
it was
big up Justice. Thanks for tuning in, man. I'm just gonna. We've been getting loads of comments, and I'm trying to keep up with them here, and it's really, like, you know, really hard because they're flying in. And really appreciate it. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. Just on that strike, I just wanted to. So we sort of touched on it there earlier on, but the striker problem. If you had 100 million, we'll say, to spend, what is the striker you'd go for?
Ollie Watkins.
Yeah,
brilliant player.
Well, would you get
Premier League experience? I'd take Ollie Watkins. He's perfect for Arsenal. Brilliant player. He's a real handful, man. He's a real handful. I like him.
Who?
Watkins.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought you said someone else there.
No.
What about Ivan Toney?
I like Watkins.
Warren, what do you think?
Arsenal,
I like Ivan Toney. I really do. I think he's a really good player. He's got Premier League experience. He's strong. He holds the ball up well. He brings other people into play. He's a better version for me of Lacazette. I think he can finish better than him.
Well, he couldn't be worse. Come on, he couldn't be worse.
Yeah. But I'm not being funny, but I want Haaland. I know it's completely unrealistic.
He's very good, man. He's very good.
He's lad from Dortmund, but he hasn't got the experience of playing in the Premier League. So
either Shaka.
150 million on him, and then him be a flop. It'd be an absolute disaster.
Well, Warren, just put it this way. Warren, he'll get more goals than Eddie Nketiah.
Well, that's true.
Or Eddie. I have a bit of time for Eddie, actually. I have a bit of time for
Eddie. I fucking nothing. No, sorry. No.
He's brave. I have a bit of time for Eddie. Eddie's all right.
Joanne, do you know, I'm just looking at this comment here. If we get top 4, we still have to qualify. I'm not 100% on that. I don't think we do we?
Automatic. Yeah, we do. Top 4 is automatic.
Top 3 qualify automatically for the group, and then the 4th goes into a playoff match for the group. Playoff.
That would be difficult, yeah. Playoff game would be difficult. We're not good in that kind of
situation. You've got Villarreal.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Unai Emery again.
He's coming back to put manners on Arteta. Arteta could even understand what Emery was saying to the players in that match because they're speaking Spanish, and he still couldn't do anything about it. What a muppet. I mean, they were speaking Spanish the whole time, yeah, because Emery is good evening. He can't speak English. They were speaking Spanish in both games, and you think Arteta would try to listen in. No, boy, he wasn't listening at all. What a fool. I would have told the players, lads, they're going to launch a long ball.
You know I've got a story about Ainsley Maitland-Niles and Arteta, right?
Oh, yes.
A colleague of mine went to the Arsenal-Wimbledon game in the League Cup earlier this season, right? And she was sat right near the dugout. And apparently Arteta was screaming and shouting at Ainsley, do this, do that. And all the other thing, waving his arms about as he does. And Ainsley turned around to him and said, what are you fucking talking about? I am doing that. What are you going on about? The two of them had a full-blown stand-up row. And I said to her after that, that's it. He won't be playing again. And that was it. He hardly ever played again after.
But see, this is the thing. And that sort of proves your point, is Arteta a dictator? Do you think he is?
Yeah, definitely.
He's strict. He's arrogant. He's ignorant.
I do. 100%.
He believes in himself a lot, and he doesn't listen to people.
And I don't think the players. I think he confuses them.
Yeah.
And he's standing on the touchline, like Jez says, trying to direct the air traffic. The plane's on, like he's on air traffic control duty.
Yeah. He waits too long. He waits too long before he reacts to a situation on the pitch. You see Klopp when something is going bad for Liverpool. You know what I mean? You see Tuchel at Chelsea. They react immediately, directly. They get the information out. They make a change. Arteta is humming and hawing for 20 minutes before he does something. I mean, when you're getting stuffed, you have to change something up. He doesn't do that. He doesn't react quick enough. And we have options. He could change things up a bit. But he just doesn't have the wherewithal. He just doesn't have the actual, the tactical news, the technical. He's just not a manager. Like, he doesn't know what he's doing out there. Look at Klopp the next time things are going bad for Liverpool. He's remonstrating with the ref. He's getting someone to warm up. You warm up immediately. Get on. You know what I mean? Klopp is just action. Well, and Arteta's passive, man.
Look,
you know what I mean? Like my ex. You know what I mean?
This season in that game at Anfield, it was 0-0 in the league game for about the first 25 minutes, right? And it was looking a bit stalemate-ishy. And he got Sane to do, like, go down like he'd been fouled or something. And then it rolled up all the Liverpool fans.
Yeah.
He got them all going, and then it sparked Liverpool into life, and he managed to use that to get all the Liverpool fans rocking.
Yeah, we could do that with Saka in the next game, maybe on Saturday. Racial abuse. Say that one of the players was racially abused.
Arteta would never do that. He just like stands there throwing his arms around, shouting and screaming and behaving like a demented chicken. And you know what I mean? It's crazy. I just don't think he knows what he's doing.
Like, Warren, as you're saying there, like, you can never see the way Klopp does that to the crowd, jeering them up, come on, and the crowd get right behind him. If Arteta done that, saying, what the fuck is he doing? What is there a helicopter landing? What's going on here? You know what I mean?
I know, man.
You know, and it's just because the fans are divided, and I just think it's the Arsenal media that are dividing the fans because they're feeding shit to the Arteta sexuals, you know, and people, let's say people like us who you know, whatever you want to call us, we've seen Henry play football. Henry slated by these people that clearly have not seen him play football at all, because why would you be slating Thierry Henry?
Yeah, they're young, maybe young fans.
Maybe young, and that, look, that's not their problem or whatever, like, you know, but like if that's the case, before I'd slate into Thierry Henry, I'd educate myself on him first and say, right, who is this guy that's slating Mikel Arteta? If I haven't a clue who he is already,
they're bound to have heard of him. Come on, I mean, they bound to have known something about this great man. You know what I mean? They can't play the card where they don't know who he is. Like, you can't play that card there.
Yeah.
They can't get away with that kind of thing because they must be pig ignorant if they haven't ever heard of the name Thierry Henry. They must just be pig ignorant. I mean, the man is a football god. He's still involved now in football on TV. I mean, for them to kind of, whatever way they're going with this, I don't know. But maybe one day I'll have the opportunity to meet up with him in a public place and we can discuss it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I won't be alone.
Yeah, you won't.
You'll be with me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Trotter crew.
Man, they don't know football. They don't know anything. And if they're in love with Mikel Arteta and they want to give him a kiss in their own time, you know what I mean? Go on Grindr or something. But I mean, this is football we're talking about here.
And here's another one, guys. And look, we're in pole position for the top 4 with games in hand to go. 5 clear of United and fans still cursing Arteta. What do you have to say to that?
I could spend the rest of the evening responding to that. Seriously, the way that he's neglected the squad to allow us to be in a situation where we've got a threadbare squad, the way that he has fallen out with players who are better than the players that we've got, we could be in a title race if it wasn't for him. Do you know what I mean? And that's just three or four little things. I could go on for at least 2 hours. I did a stream about it at the weekend, gone. And it went on for over 2 hours. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. We'll have to do another 2-hour show then. Sorry, Dave.
Exactly.
But we're no closer. We're no closer to winning the league. We're no closer to even challenging for the league. We can finish. We can finish from 4th position to 8th position. We can finish 4th position every season like we used to do under Wenger for a while, and get into the Champions League. But we will never hit the heights and challenge for the Premier League. And that should be okay. Only one team can win it every season. I'm aware of that, of course. But we will never, under Mikel Arteta, we will never push and have a real crack at winning the Premier League. And that is the problem. We'll always be in limbo. We'll always be where we are. We'll always be there. And we will go backwards. We will start to regress. These people saying this, that, and the other, I respect their opinions. I can see the comments here. But wake up, guys. The football club is more important than Mikel Arteta's career. He's using our football club as a platform, as a launch pad to move on to something else at some point, but not to the detriment of our club. He shouldn't be doing that, man. He shouldn't be doing that with our club. These people thinking this and that and the other about him, this and that. He's never going to make us progress and push. Like, he's taking us backwards. Whenever he gives advice to the players in training, he made what happened to Aubameyang. I mean, it's just like Pepe was a better player before he signed for us. And he's had a word with Pepe too, and he's teaching him how to play. Stop confusing him. Stick the ball in the net. Arteta is not a football manager. He's an Everton reject. He's not an Arsenal legend. And he was a crap player, and he's a worse manager.
Yeah,
it's as simple as that. Ancelotti is a manager. And I'm not saying what Warren wants to hear. I'm saying what I feel. If I disagree with Warren, I would say it too. I don't care. This is what I believe. Yeah. He's not a football manager. Ancelotti was a manager. Claudio Ranieri is a manager. This guy is not a manager. Not everybody can be like Zinedine Zidane. He's not a football manager. He was a crap player. He's a worse manager. Everton reject. Get out of my club.
Exactly. At the end of the day, we're no nearer challenging.
But I'm serious, guys. I'm not talking about that. I'm serious.
Which is what I'm interested in than what we were when the day he was appointed. Right? And on top of that, when Thomas Tuchel took over at Chelsea, they were lower than us in the league. Right? Within 18 months, he's won the Club World Cup. He's won the Champions League. He's got them to an FA Cup final, and they're third in the league. Right, within a week, he had them playing a style of play. We're still waiting for a style of play.
He's a born winner, Warren. He's a born winner, and they got rid of Frank Lampard, who is a Chelsea legend. Frank Lampard deserved a chance at Chelsea. He is a Chelsea legend, like Patrick Vieira is an Arsenal legend. Arteta is a nobody. But they got rid of Lampard for Tuchel. You see Tuchel when he's on the sideline. You see him in the press conference. Focus, organization, passion, and a wherewithal, a belief. He knows how to get the job done. It's not just the players they have. He's a very good coach. Big up Thomas Tuchel, man, respect. Come to Arsenal, save us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Save us.
And I believe in equal opportunity, so I'll just read this comment out. At the end of the day, any manager gets the Arsenal job. We won't get the manager that every fan favours. It's as simple as that. You all thought Conte would have magically have Spurs in the top 4 already. And that's fair enough. Yeah, look, come here. The way that I look at it is, like, I love Arsenal.
Geese. What does geese mean?
I love Arsenal.
Is he calling us geese?
Yeah, geez, I think, is it?
Oh, I thought, but that actually says geese. He's calling us geese. I am not a goose.
Yeah. But I
Don't call me a goose again, mister. I'm not a goose, all right? Oh, like, geez, it's meant to be. That's with a J and a double EZ.
I'll just continue. Like the way that I look at it is, I just want Arsenal going for the league, being a big, like, you know, being challenging for the league. I don't care who the manager is. I'm not. Oh, I love Arteta. Oh, I hate Arteta. I just want Arsenal to do well. I want them going for the league. I want them going well in the Champions League, winning stuff. I don't give a fuck about it, like, you know. And that's my point of view. It's nothing to do with Arteta. I've no problems with him as a human being. Like, you know, I don't know the guy.
I do. Personal, strictly personal with me.
Yeah.
For me, it's personal. It's more than that. It's personal.
And that's fair enough. And here, I want to read this one out as well from Finbar Kelly, Irish name. Bergwijn scores in the 95th minute equaliser against Leicester, runs into the net, gets the ball, and then scores a winner. Lacazette scores an equaliser in extra time against Palace and celebrates at the corner flag. And that, ladies and gentlemen, sums up the Arsenal mentality.
Big up, Finbar. What a fucking top comment that is.
That's a brilliant comment. Like, you know, it's sort of, it's a very good comment. Like, you know what I mean? How long until Spurs are looking for another manager? Yeah, like, you know, just everyone subscribe to Diesel Arsenal. Great channel too. Big up Diesel. I'll get in contact with you as well soon. Like, you know, we must get you on. Warren, he's your
subscribe to my channel. You know what I mean? I think everybody should subscribe to my channel.
Yeah, we're going to get there now. Yeah. Warren Diesel, you know Diesel, do you? Diesel Arsenal.
No, he's a top lad. He's got an excellent channel. He used to be on the channel with Claude.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And
no,
he's
That's
a top lad.
Robbie from AFTV.
Very passionate Arsenal fan. Massively Arteta out. And his streams are lit. They go on for 2 hours, and he talks and talks and talks. Honestly, he can pull the hind legs off a donkey. Everyone can subscribe to Diesel.
Subscribe to Diesel. I have seen one or two of his streams, to be honest with you. And like, you know, I'll get in contact with you, mate, if you're interested. I'm just going to read out this. Gerrard and Vieira imprinted a style of playing, especially Vieira, even though I don't want him anywhere near. He has turned Croydon, Roy's, Palace. From 4-4-2, parked the bus, deployed to fluid football. What do you think, Dave? You were bigging up Vieira earlier on. What do you have to say to that?
Let me just read it. Gerrard and Vieira having put to the style of play, especially Vieira even. The person wouldn't want Vieira anywhere near the club. I would like that. I would like him to manage Arsenal. Vieira deserves the shot. You know what I mean?
Sorry, Dave. No one cares about what you're saying there. They're just looking at the tall, dark, and handsome Dave. I'm only messing, mate. Sorry.
Tall and dark. Yeah, I think Vieira deserves an opportunity to manage the club. If we can give it to Arteta, then why not Vieira? I'm a big fan of him, and he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, exactly. Lads, I think, look, it's been a great stream, and I'm really after enjoying it. And
I'm going to go get something to eat. So
yeah, we really appreciate your time, and fair play to you for coming
thanks
on.
for
And
inviting me on. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for inviting me.
look,
Likewise,
if you
thanks
guys
very
are,
much, Del Boy.
yeah, I'd really appreciate you. Oh, I like the hat, old school Gunner. You got it all. Jesus Christ, I have to get one of them. The merch,
It's wild, isn't it?
Yeah, you're worse. You're worse than fucking Arsenal with the merch.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
You'll be getting a phone call from Josh tomorrow, mate.
Yeah.
I'd like to work in the United States, no problem. I'll just sell out the club like everybody else.
Well, look, guys. Everyone that's tuned in so far, if you haven't already subscribed to the boys there, Old School Gunner, Warren's Team Talk, please subscribe to the boys. You know what I mean?
There's more than one Irish Arsenal fan out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not the only one in the room. You know what I mean?
You don't call me old school for nothing. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. Fair play, lads, for coming on. So, Dave, Old School Gunner, where can people find you, mate?
People can check me out, Old School Gunner, on YouTube. I have an Instagram account. It's the same handle, Old School Gunner. I'm also on Twitter. I do live streams. I do watch-alongs. Once I did a munch-along. Warren saw that. I did a munch-along. And basically, I like to keep it real. I'm doing my thing. And subscribe to my channel. And if you do, hit the notifications bell. But also subscribe to these two gentlemen, yeah. And support Arsenal. Support guys that are doing their thing on YouTube. And yeah, thank you to everybody for your comments. I see the list. Even the people that disagreed and agreed with Arteta and this and that and the other. I respect everybody's comments, and thank you for all your comments and tuning in. Yeah, and thank you to Del Boy Gunner for inviting me on, and thank you to Warren for coming on, because it was a pleasure, Warren, as always.
Lovely. Cheers, Dave. And Warren, what's the story with you? What anything coming up, and where can people find you?
Okay, yeah, so they can find me on YouTube, Warren's Team Talk. I'm also on Instagram and on Twitter. And what's the other thing I'm on? I can't even remember it. But yeah, they're the main three.
Tinder, I think you're on Tinder.
Yeah.
And, on Tinder. Yeah. On Tinder, Old School Lover.
On Saturday, I'm doing a match day live
on Tinder
from 2:40. I'll be covering all the Saturday 3 p.m. kickoffs. So that Arsenal Brentford game is going to be one of those. So it's usually quite wild. It works a bit like the Sky Sports thing on a Saturday, where it was all the pundits sitting around talking about the matches. Works a bit like that. So yeah, it's good fun and should be great. So come and find me at 2:40 on Saturday. But yeah, thanks for having me on, Del Boy. I really appreciate it. And make sure, everyone, that you smash the likes on this video. Make sure you subscribe to Del Boy if you haven't already. And make sure you pass his content around, please.
Fair play, Warren. And I'll just see a comment there, Finbar. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get the boys on again, probably next week or something like that. And we'll try and do something weekly, even if it's not on my channel, if it's on theirs or something like that. We'll organise something in the background, and we'll give you plenty of notice. And we'll do something like this. Dave, I'm sure you'll be interested, and so will you, Warren. You know, we'll do stuff like that 100%. It's just I don't have time now to sort of talk about it and go into it, but we definitely will. And just Rave, and fair play to you, mate. It's not about just who's Arteta in, who's Arteta out. We're all Arsenal fans, as I say. I want to know when you guys are live again. I like the little group talk. Not much people, and the good comments get noticed. Exactly. I try to get everyone's comments on board. We're coming in quick and fast and stuff like that. And I really do appreciate everyone coming on, and love the support and everything like that we're getting. You know what I mean? I'm only a new channel myself. I'm only started in November, I think it was the start of December. Like, you know, and the amount of love that I'm getting is really good. Like even just getting these boys on, you know, Old School Gunner and Warren's Team Talk, it's great, you know, and I respect the two boys big time, you know what I mean? And look, I just want to say, if you're not subscribed to myself or the boys, please do try and just show the love. That'd be great. And like and hit the notification bell. I'd really appreciate it. I'm on with Jez tomorrow night on my channel at 7 o'clock. We're just going to be talking probably about the 94 era Was a night. No, it's sort of the early '90s era. We're going to talk about. Arsenal's a great team. Then we nearly done the invincible season there. Warren, you know about that. And yeah, we're going to talk sort of not even about the sort of prediction of the Brentford game, but we'll probably touch on it and see what happens. You know what I mean? I'm going to do a live stream then at about 12 o'clock on Saturday. What I usually do. Ola is going to try and make it on with me. He's a bit busy, but he's going to try. If not, I'll have it open to people. Just call it in. I'll jump you on the stream if you want. You don't have to show your face. You talk away, and we'll talk about the game ahead at 3 o'clock. So thanks everyone again for tuning in tonight, and I really appreciate every one of you that put comments in. It was so funny. Loads of comments were brilliant. And as I said, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bells to the boys. Old School Gunner, Warren's Team Talk. Trust me, you will not regret it. Thanks a million, everyone. Have a good night, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Take care.
Guys. Peace.